You've been told the same story your whole career? Work hard, stay humble, be a team player, do good work and the right people will notice. Keep your head down, deliver results, and the promotions will come. It's a beautiful story. And according to Jeffrey Pfeffer, a Stanford professor who has spent 50 years studying how power actually works, almost all of it is wrong, not slightly off. Not half true, wrong, and the people telling it to you, they either don't know better, or they're benefiting from you believing it. Today we're breaking down Pfeffer's book 7 Rules of Power, one of the most uncomfortable, controversial, and genuinely useful books ever written about how careers actually advance. This isn't self-help fluff. This is social science. And it might change the way you see every workplace you've ever been in. Part 1. The Myth of Meritocracy. Let's start with the biggest lie of all, that workplaces are meritocracies. We want to believe that the best person for the job gets the job, that the hardest worker gets the raise, that talent rises naturally to the top. But Pfeffer argues this belief isn't just naive, it's actively dangerous to your career, because it causes you to invest energy in the wrong places. Here's the uncomfortable truth he lays out with decades of research behind it. Organizations are not rational systems designed to reward competence. They are social systems full of perception, politics, relationships, and status signals. And in social systems, how you are seen matters at least as much as what you actually do. Think about that for a second. Two people do the same quality of work. One talks about it, builds relationships, makes themselves visible. The other keeps their head down and lets the work speak for itself. Who gets promoted? In a true meritocracy, the better performer. In the real world, almost always the first person. Every time. Pfeffer's thesis is simple. Most people fail to advance not because they lack talent, but because they've been handed a rulebook that doesn't match the game being played. Part 2. Get out of your own way. The first rule Pfeffer introduces is about mindset, and it starts with a hard truth. Most of us are our own biggest obstacle. We've been conditioned to believe that self-promotion is arrogant, that confidence without total certainty is dishonest, that admitting weakness makes us relatable and trustworthy. And so we shrink, we hedge, we qualify everything we say. We volunteer our insecurities before anyone even asks. Pfeffer says stop, immediately. Research consistently shows that people do not think more highly of you than you think of yourself. If you describe yourself with doubt and reservation, others receive that signal and adjust their assessment accordingly. Colleagues actually expect you to advocate for yourself, and if you don't, that silence is interpreted as a red flag, not humility. One study found that overconfidence alone, not actual competence, just the display of confidence, predicted how much status others assigned to a person. That's a staggering finding. It means that projecting certainty, even when you don't fully feel it, genuinely changes how people perceive your capability. The lesson isn't to be delusional. It's to stop narrating your own limitations out loud. Part 3. Break the rule of shares, where Pfeffer starts making people genuinely uncomfortable. He argues that rule breaking, when done strategically, is a powerful signal of status. Think about it from a social psychology angle. Following rules is what people do when they're afraid of consequences. Breaking rules signals that you believe you are above them, and paradoxically, people start to believe it too. This is why founders, executives, and high-status individuals routinely ignore norms that others rigidly follow. They show up late. They challenge assumptions in meetings. They push back on decisions that others would simply accept. And rather than being punished, they are often rewarded because the rule breaking itself communicates confidence and authority. Pfeffer isn't telling you to be reckless. He's telling you to stop confusing compliance with competence. They are not the same thing. And treating them as if they are is quietly killing your career. Part 4. Appearance matters more than you want it to. This section is where many readers push back hardest, because it feels unfair. And it is. But Pfeffer doesn't deal in fairness, he deals in evidence. The data on appearance and career outcomes is relentless. One meta-analysis of 69 studies found that highly attractive individuals earn around 20% more and are recommended for promotions significantly more often than their peers. Body language, vocal tone, posture, the way you enter a room, all of it shapes how people unconsciously assess your competence before you've said a single word. Pfeffer's advice here isn't about vanity. It's about intentionality. Most people have never thought carefully about the signals they're broadcasting. Are you projecting someone who expects to be in the room, or someone who's grateful to be allowed in? Because people can tell. And that perception compounds over years into dramatically different career outcomes. He's also direct about emotional expression, displaying controlled anger. In appropriate contexts, signals that you take yourself seriously. Constant warmth and agreeableness, while personally pleasant, can undermine the perception of authority. Part 5. Build a powerful brand. This is perhaps Pfeffer's most actionable chapter, and the one most people are most reluctant to act on. Your personal brand is the story other people tell about you when you're not in the room. And if you're not actively shaping that story, someone else is shaping it for you, or worse. No story is being told at all. Pfeffer points to the research on narrative. The ability to create a compelling story about yourself and repeat it consistently until it becomes seen as truth is one of the most powerful career tools available. This isn't deception. It's the same mechanism behind every successful leader, every celebrated entrepreneur. They didn't just do things, they told a story about what those things meant. His practical advice: associate yourself with prestigious people and institutions. Get visible, write, speak, publish, create. Tell your story in the format of a hero's journey, because that structure is psychologically sticky. People remember it, believe it, and repeat it. The uncomfortable implication: the person with the better narrative often beats the person with the better resume. Every single time. Part 6. Network relentlessly. Pfeffer cites research showing that networking ability is the single most powerful predictor of career outcomes above skill, above performance, above almost everything else. And yet most people hate networking. They see it as fake, transactional, even immoral. So they avoid it. And then they wonder why people with inferior skills keep leapfrogging them. One counterintuitive finding. Pfeffer highlights: the relationships that most powerfully advance your career are not your close friends and family. They're your weak ties, casual acquaintances, across different industries and circles. Because those people have access to information and opportunities that your immediate network doesn't. Networking isn't about collecting business cards at awkward events. It's about deliberately building a web of relationships across different domains so that when opportunities arise, your name is already in the room. Part 7. USE Your Power and Success. Excuses almost everything. Final two rules are the ones that generate the most controversy. Pfeffer argues that power must be actively used to be maintained. A position of influence that you don't exercise erodes. You must demonstrate that you can get things done, make decisions, and deliver outcomes, because power that sits dormant signals that it doesn't really exist. And then there's his most provocative claim: in the real world, success tends to retroactively justify the methods used to achieve it. Winners are celebrated. The rough edges get smoothed out of the story. The ends, to a disturbing degree, shape how people evaluate the means. This is not a moral endorsement. Pfeffer himself is careful to frame power as a neutral tool, one that can be used for tremendous good or genuine harm. But he insists you see the world as it is, not as you wish it were. Because you cannot change a game you refuse to acknowledge you're playing. So what do you do with all of this? You can reject it. You can call it cynical, amoral, a manual for sociopaths. Many people do. But here's the thing: the people who reject it still live in the world it describes. They just navigate it blind. Or you can accept the uncomfortable truth that Pfeffer is offering. Understanding how power works doesn't make you corrupt. It makes you effective. And effectiveness, real, lasting, organizational effectiveness, is what actually creates change. Work hard. Do good work. Be a decent person. But do not for a single second believe that's enough on its own. The game is already being played. The only question is whether or not you are going to win.